Hey everyone, and welcome back to AP Euro for Dummies. So, let's just go ahead and get started because this is all about Unit 5 because we have midterms coming up, which I will make a video reviewing for Units 1 through 5. And basically, if Dr. Moore did not tell your class, Unit 5 is mainly the midterm. So he said there's 20 questions on Unit 5, there are 10 questions on Unit 4, there are 8 questions on Unit 3, there are 7 questions on Unit 2, and there are 5 questions over Unit 1. So he said as long as you study Unit 5 the most, you're probably going to be A-okay. Anyway, so picture it's the late 1700s. Europe's got the Enlightenment going on, and they have philosophers like Rousseau and Montesquieu, and America just finished its breakup with Britain. So, you know, Declaration of Independence, 1776. 1776. We got Hamilton. You know that. And France, what about France? Well, France is broke. So if you watch Hamilton, you know that Lafayette sends a letter to France and they help America fight against the British, right? So
I ask for French aid. I pray that France has sent a ship.
They spent all their money helping America, right? So they spent millions of dollars with America. And now they are broke. And they literally haven't called their government meeting, aka the Estates General, since 1614. And that's like not opening your emails from like kindergarten. So France is divided into 3 groups called estates. And it's all kind of like a group project, right? So the first estate, who runs that? The clergy, okay? The clergy and the nobles always seem to run something. So if you don't know on a question, like, who ran this, your best guess is probably nobles or clergy, okay? But the first estate is the clergy, and they're kind of like the kid who really does nothing but has like special privileges and like wrote their name and said that they did the project. And second, they have the second estate, which is the nobles, and they're kind of like the kid that shows up for one day. The teacher sees them working for like that one day, and then the teacher gives them an A. So the third estate, which is literally everybody else, if you're not the clergy or the noble, you're part of group 3. You're part of the district. If you watch Hunger Games, I don't know, if you're not in District 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, you're going to be in District 12. But the third estate, who is everyone else, is literally the entire class doing all of the work. So when they actually meet up in 1789, the third estate's like, hey, because like we have the most people in our group, don't you think these voting should go based off like population because we're like 98% of the country? And the first and second estate like, well, no. And that's why the French Revolution starts.
Excuse me? Hi. Do you know if there's a coffee shop around here? You don't know? Oh, you're deaf. Okay, thank you. Love you. She's deaf, you bet.
Drama free.
The third estate gets mad and they march off to a literal tennis court, one that you play tennis on. Like they all sit down in circle time and they all have a meeting. And they swear on this thing called the tennis court oath, which is we're not leaving until we make a constitution. Like you cannot go home and have dinner with your wife and kids until we make this constitution right here.
Son, I need you.
So basically towards the king, who was King Louis, they were like, we're not doing this crap anymore, Louis. So King Louis XVI is that kid in the group project that got assigned to your group, but he didn't know he was in your group. So he does nothing. And he hears Bastille was stormed and literally asked, is it a revolt? Okay, so they literally chopped your guy's head off and promoted it through Paris. No, it's not a revolt.
Get crazy, get wild.
So people in Bastille are looking for weapons. Once again in history, when a king takes away weapons, he usually puts down a law or something that the people are not going to like. So when people try to revolt, they don't have weapons to fight with. So people are storming Bastille looking for weapons. And there were only 5 prisoners. So it was more like less of free the people and more of target robbery for muskets. Okay, so side note, because I could not have explained that any worse, but basically the Second Amendment in our Constitution, it's the right to bear arms, so to have weapons. So basically, in the Declaration of Independence, it literally says that we are allowed to overthrow a government and we are allowed to use weapons if we really have to. So that's why we have the Second Amendment, and that's why they're searching for weapons, because they got their Second Amendment taken away. So now let's talk about Parisian women. They marched 20 miles to Versailles because bread is too expensive, and Marie Antoinette keeps doing her little like hauls, because Marie Antoinette, once again, she loved the expensive stuff. So anything expensive she could get, she wore it, and she showed it and strutted it all throughout in front of poor people. And they were like, okay, no. So these Parisian women, they drag the royal family back to Paris because they live in Versailles, right? And they go, get a loser, we're overthrowing the monarchy. New money to be made. So the National Assembly starts passing Enlightenment laws like freedom of speech, freedom of press, equality before the law, and no more freedom. Feudalism, I said the wrong thing. Basically everything France should have done 200 years ago, but okay. Guess who was in Paris while this is all happening? Thomas Jefferson, the man, the myth, the hypocrite.
Where have you been, France?
And Thomas Jefferson's literally giving the French ideas on what they're over here doing in America. So now we're entering the everyone's losing their mind era. And the Jacobins, aka the Radicals, I don't know if I'm saying that right. It was led by Marat, Danton, and Robespierre. I hope I'm saying that right. But they're very equality, but also very execute people. So the Girondins, I don't know how to say their name, they're moderates, and basically they're like, can we not kill like literally everybody? So what happened to King Louis? Well, they actually executed him in 1793. Then Marie Antoinette, who's very famous for her let them eat cake, which was, people say a lot of the reason why she was murdered, and it's because she represented the drama, the overspending, and the bad financial decisions. So people were like, okay, we see you with your new jewels, your new crown, and your new bedroom. Execute her. She's spending like all of our France money. And their son, King Louis the 17th, he only lived for 10 years because, of course, once again, women were not allowed to be queen. So France didn't really want a ruler anymore. And they decide off with King Louis the 16th, off with Marie Antoinette. And, oh, look, well, they still have a son. We have to kill him so he does not become king. So basically, there's not like a name for them, but a lot of like French people, their son, Louis the 17th, people would like find him and beat him until his death, until one day they beat him so bad that he literally died, and he died at the age of 10. So imagine just being 10 years old and you're dying just because you're the next in line to be king. France was not playing. So Robespierre takes over France and enters its Villeneuve. So what was the reign of terror? Hence it's in the name. So there was 40,000 executed. Gelotins, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'm probably not. There were gelotins everywhere and people dying for side-eyeing the government. If you even were like, okay, there's something wrong with the government, it may be corrupt, and somebody else heard you, the people who overheard you and you who were saying it, they're both executed. We're both dying. Hey. Good news, he dies. You don't even know what you're asking me to. In the most unhinged moment of the revolution, Robespierre tries to commit suicide in a tiny hotel room hiding from all the people who already want him dead. So he loads his gun, he shoots himself, it fails, he ends up breaking his jaw. The people who were searching for him heavily find him, and they're like, you tried to kill yourself? Absolutely not. They grab a bandana, they tie it together. They're like, we want the satisfaction of killing you ourselves. So they tie him up together for like 24 hours. The next day, then he gets geloted the next day. So honestly, instant karma. Did you forget? Do it for life. Chicago that time. So after the terror of France is like, can we just like chill and like have no problems whatsoever, not be broke anymore, not be like all this killing and our kings and stuff. And they write a new constitution and create the Directory, which is a government run by 5 dudes. It's mid. Like extremely mid. They're so corrupt that France ends up being saved by Napoleon. And he's a short king, big ego, bigger military.
Burning George Washington, we are outgunned!
Okay, we're going back to the Directory. It is flopping hard. And France needs a main character, so enter in Napoleon. So here's Napoleon's backstory. He starts as a young artillery officer, and then suddenly he's out here winning battles in Italy like he unlocked God mode. So France is absolutely obsessed with him. So he's like your average like TikTok star, okay? He is absolutely famous. So Napoleon and his friends walk into the government. They're like, hey, you're done. And the directory is so weak, they basically just handed him the keys. So he becomes the first consul, aka the CEO of France. So this is Napoleon's big swipe. So he creates the Napoleonic Code, which is equality before the law, protection of property, no more feudal leftovers, but women lose rights, and patriarchy speed runs back into France. So it's kind of like a backhanded compliment. He gives you rights in one hand and then snatches them away with the other. So in 1808, Napoleon crowns himself emperor. Like, actually, he grabs the crown out of the Pope's hands and was like... So now this man, he has military experience. He's now the emperor. He has the ultimate power, which is what all the monarchs dream of. And what else do monarchs dream of? Conquering land. So Napoleon, he starts collecting countries like they're Pokemon cards. So his achievements, they are to beat Austria, control Italy, redraw Germany. He wants to put his siblings on thrones. He wants to humiliate Prussia, and he wants to flex on Spain. So he's basically building a European friend group where he's the leader and everyone else is there against their will. So Napoleon creates this massive anti-Britain boycott, and it fails really hard. And everybody cheats. Nobody followed the rules. So in 1812, he invades Russia with 600,000 men. He leaves with like 30,000. Russia then does their classic move, which is burn everything and run. And Napoleon's army freezes, starves, and dies of sadness. All of Europe pulls up like it's a group project intervention, and they defeat Napoleon in 1814 and exile him to Elba, a tiny island. So he escapes the island and he returns to France. People cheer. The army joins him, and it's actually insane. So he's back again, and he rules France for 100 days until the Battle of Waterloo, where he loses again. So they send him to St. Helena, an island literally in the middle of nowhere, and all he did was die there.
Girls in the VIP, they came with Dre.
Europe meets to clean up Napoleon's mess like a disappointed parents. So of course, what are their goals again? Their goals are to restore old monarchies, balance power so no one becomes the next Napoleon again, and punish France but not too hard. So basically, let's pretend the last 25 years did not happen. So if you take anything from Unit 5, there's a couple of things that you just have to remember. France was broke, people were angry, they overthrew their king. They accidentally started a murder spree out of nowhere and then was like, oops. And then Napoleon showed up. He took over everything. He lost everything. And Europe had to come in like exhausted parents. Just study your stuff. I'll have out a midterm review video super soon. Bye.